Alright, so this video is not a criticism of carnivore diet, it's a reflection on what my experience was in addition to what I think should be added to the diet. Because the diet itself is very dogmatic, I'm realizing now that I've had the opportunity to respond and read some of the comments that were made on my previous video. And I actually genuinely expected a lot of vegans to write in and say that what I'm doing is against human nature and it's inhumane and I'm a sinner and I'm going to hell. And they did do that, like, of course. And I expected that, which is fine. But the other side of it was the really dogmatic carnivores. So these carnivore purists who come in and say, well, what you did is consume plants and you immediately had an allergic reaction. What do you think was going to happen? And I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be more of an open-minded type thing, saying like, well, I'm glad you found that animal products helped you and that there's certain plant foods that you can tolerate. But the thing that I want to stress here in this video is that you got to get rid of that dogma. I'm sure you've all heard it a million times, but you got to get rid of that dogma because I'm doing better on a modified carnivore diet than I was on a pure carnivore diet. When I was eating just meat, fish, fowl, eggs, which I'm still basing my diet on meat, fish, fowl, eggs. And that's the other thing I wanted to make sure people knew. I know the carnivore diet is not just beef and water, beef, salt, and water. That's the one that people do what I did when you're trying to get rid of and recognize allergies, because people do have food intolerances to chicken, they have intolerances to eggs, they have intolerances to milk. So I didn't do any of those. And one of the top comments on my video was so annoying. You know by the way, the carnivore diet isn't just beef. And I'm not a moron. So yes, I know that. I did that strict version because I wanted to identify my food allergies. Well, now that I'm done with that, I'm doing better because I've incorporated the egg yolks. Everyone has been commenting saying that I need to do a video on the egg yolks, and I will do that. It has to do with choline, and if you're really stressed, choline can help you replete some of the nutrients that you've lost because it is in itself an anti-inflammatory and a, what would be the word? Not antioxidant, but it helps repair damage, we'll say. That's why I have to do a separate video because just trying to mull through it in my head right now doesn't really work, so I have to put my thoughts together. But what I've noted is that when I'm sick or I start feeling symptoms of sickness, I don't simply go with the carnivore purist dogma, which is eat more beef, which is just nonsense because that has an upper limit and there's no solution that is it's not a resolution to your problem. When you feel sick, you just eat more beef. No, that's silly and you know it because it makes zero sense. Of course, maybe your body needs more nutrients and that's fine, you can get those from beef, but there are other things that can help you, such as, for me, when I feel sick, I eat ginger or I eat garlic. And I'm not talking like a little bit sprinkled on my food. I'm saying I buy it raw and take a giant bite of it and chase it with some honey and some hot water. And it kills the bacteria that is going to make me sick. And I can feel it burning in my throat. I can feel it burning in my stomach. It's not a pleasant sensation. And it doesn't feel like something I want to do every single day. But I treat it as medicine because when you look at your food as medicine, you recognize there are appropriate dosages for the foods that you consume. I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed about this. But it does bother me that people think that there's only one food you can consume or that all other dosages, we'll say, of food are not to be included in your diet, when in reality you can benefit from a host of different foods as long as they don't become the primary portion of your diet. And what I try to do is eat a paleo-based diet, which is meat, fish, fowl, eggs, some plants, some starches, very little starches. So what I eat is potassium from potatoes and bananas. And that helps maintain your blood pressure at a normal level because when you do increase your salt intake, many people are salt sensitive and their blood pressure will go up and you'll become hypertensive. I don't want that. And I like salt because when I cut salt out, I feel sick. I get a headache immediately, I sleep poorly. And so I don't want to cut salt back. Instead, I increase potassium. Where do you get potassium? From potatoes and bananas. I consume beets because they have nitrates, which also increase blood flow. It's the primary ingredient in Viagra, so take that information, do what you will with it. I consume garlic and ginger, like I said. I forget what else I've been consuming recently. But plants have their place. If you can tolerate them, they have benefits. There are obviously people who need to be on a super strict diet, and maybe that is the pure carnivore diet. Good for them or not good for them. I'm sorry, that's rough, because it's not fun to just eat pure beef. I'm sorry that you have to go through that, but good for you that you know that that's your limitation. That's awesome if you can stay strict on it and not have allergic reactions. You take care of yourself and you're very disciplined. That's fantastic. That says a whole lot about you as a person. But to be somebody else who just follows a carnivore dogma for no reason and enforces it on other people who are actually just trying to find their way to health is nonsense. So I'm not trying to hate on carnivore purists, because I'm currently eating beef. This is cayenne pepper, butter, and beef. I mean, I eat cayenne pepper because, again, it's good for energy, it's good for blood flow, circulation, and I want all that. And I only get it from plants. I don't get that from protein nonstop. But I do base my diet off of meat, fish, fowl, eggs, and then I have some plants and very little starch. And fruit is, at most, it's bananas, because I'm trying to get my potassium from bananas, and that's it. And it helps with your workouts. It's just that there are multiple benefits from an array of foods that I think dogma and sticking to that dogma on whatever your diet is, which there's no place for dogma in your diet. You're looking for optimized health and enjoyment of your lifestyle at the same time. And that's not going to come from dogma. There is a place for dogma, and that's in your religion, that's in whatever your belief system is. Fantastic, stick with it. But food doesn't have to be a part of that so much. So stop blurring the lines, make it as clear as possible that your diet is there to optimize the way you live, the way you feel. Your health comes from your diet. Food is medicine. Recognize the dosage. I'm not saying consume garlic, honey, and ginger every single day of your life, but if you start feeling sick, do it. It gets rid of your cold. If you feel like your blood pressure is crummy, maybe reduce your salt a little bit. I'm not saying cut out salt, and increase your potassium. There's a balance to be established, and assigning your belief system to something that's pure carnivore or pure vegan is not going to assist you in achieving your goals. It may make things clearer for you, and it may help you form a base, but it's not going to get you to an optimized lifestyle that is as inclusive as possible while helping you heal and reduce damages. That's all for now on this one. I'm trying to keep under 7 minutes. Did I do it? Maybe.